Welcome back, guys. It's been a month, probably the fastest month of my entire life. Handed out 200 business cards or so, talked to hundreds of people. Where am I at? Well, I'm still broke, still moron, still trying to solve stuff in the short term, but from where we were a month ago, I have learned a lot about the business. I've learned a lot about the area. I've met a lot of really cool people. I've defeated, a lot of my social anxiety, just randomly calling, randomly talking to people. Through the trials and tribulations of that, it's been a journey, and I'm trying my best not to say in this video, but it's going to get worse and worse as it goes on. So, bear with me. This last month has really been a huge step in terms of personal growth, in terms of mental health growth, in terms of my business growth. There really isn't an area of my life that didn't grow in the last month, except for, I would say, my anxieties, my depressions, things that make me sad, that they really don't make me as sad anymore. And it's a good step in the right direction, I think. So I might cut a lot of this out or put it at the end of the video because it's really tertiary to the situation. But things are looking good. I'm starting to make some money here instead of making monthly money, which is kind of what I expected to start out. It seems like I might actually start making weekly money. I've reached out to a lot of roofing companies in the area. I'm working with some solar companies right now. I'm actually on the way to a job right now to do a solar map. So I've been going over roofs, taking 3D models of these houses, getting the square footage for people with an orthomosaic map, and then bam, I'm done. I build a report. It's very similar to what my last job was that I really loved. If you watch my last video, I'm probably going to rename it the month 0 start. This is going to be month 1 update. Really, at month 0, I had no idea what I was facing. I had no idea if the business was viable. I didn't know how much money I was going to be making, if any. And it seems like I am going to be making some money, but I may still need to get a couple day a week part-time job until I have consistent work. But that's just a stepping stone. That's just the way it is. And this job will also probably be seasonal. A lot of people get their roofs done in the summer. A lot of people get their solar installed in the summer. And the winter here, it's going to be a little bit rainy. So I'm not going to be able to fly as many days. People aren't going to want to be on roofs, installing roofs. So I've also dipped into the real estate market a little bit because people are always buying houses for some reason. I'm a homeowner, so I'm guilty. But with the interest rates where they're at right now, it's kind of wild to me how much movement there is on the real estate market. But people got to live in houses, so whether you like it or not, you got to get one eventually, if you can afford it, of course. I'm one of the blessed people that could afford it. I bought a house back, I think 2018. I've refinanced twice since then. I got locked in at like a 2.6, so I'm trapped forever basically until I pay this house off, or until the economy does some crazy gymnastics, which I don't expect it anytime soon. So roofing was a good outlet, but the problem with roofing is that they use satellite imagery that's available nationwide, and I'm pretty sure the people building those reports are getting paid less than an American minimum wage. So these reports that are getting built through EagleView, they're not trying to slander EagleView, so if this is true or not, this is all just my opinion. But it seems like the really, really detailed, really, really excellent reports they're building have to be done by somebody that's getting paid less than American wage hourly, because they can't just be automated. It potentially could be automated, but I don't think so. I think that they're paying some dude in the Philippines, some dude in Sri Lanka or Pakistan to build these roofing reports using Google Maps or using their satellite imagery data. And it's something that I can only really charge about $20 per roof. So I'm really working for minimum wage or even less. I'm working near closer to the federal minimum wage than the California minimum wage. So that is disheartening, that is disappointing, but there's avenues in this blight, not blight, but in this bleak market of roofing, there is some hope, because not only do, roofing companies do quotes, so a single roof could have quotes from multiple roofing companies. So right there is an opportunity for business for me, because all of my flights, all of the data I collect is inherently confidential. If I do, a solar company pays me to go out to a roof and I map that roof, I'm not going to then turn around and sell that data to other solar companies. I could easily do that. I could easily take this solar data and sell that to other companies and say, hey, this is how big the roof is. This customer wants a solar installation. Have at it. And I could sell that. I could underskirt people, but I don't think that that's the right thing to do. For one reason is because it's dishonest. People are buying a service from me. If I'm then turning around and selling that to their competitors, that's just a good way for me to destroy my own business. And two, the other good reason is that I then have more jobs. So it's more experience, it's more flight time, more clients getting happy, and it's more time out in the outdoors, enjoying what I do. And even if it's not a lot of money, it's getting me somewhere. And doing these, standard roof mappings. For solar, I'm doing a little bit more. I'm getting paid $30 per roof right now, and I may change that rate depending on how many facets I have to measure. Because that's really what seems like it takes more time. It doesn't matter if the house is 10,000 square feet. It doesn't matter if it's 5,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet. If it's 2 facets, I can measure that in a minute or two. But if it has 5 or 10 or 15 facets, it's a freaking mansion. Or it's had a bunch of add-ons like the house I just did last week, it does take more time. So I'm, learning where I can fit in this business by staying in business. That's something that I'm allowed to do because I have, a really, really great wife that makes 6 figures at her job. And we're not financially stable right now. We are, cutting it close, let's say. I've had savings that we're burning through. Not fast, but we're burning it through the at a rate that is, uncomfortable for both of us. So we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, Tyler should probably get a part-time job while he figures out this drone stuff, if it's going to work. And if it's going to work, it's still going to take him a couple months to get to the point where he no longer needs, additional income. So I've been branching out into I started out doing the roofing, and I was like, okay, there's not a lot of money in this. Maybe later on what I'll be able to do is show clients what different colors of roofs will look like on their house. And that is something that, maybe I could potentially squeeze more money out of that rock. Same way with the solar panel stuff. I'm learning how to model solar panels and AC units, and I'll be able to present those on, the roof or on the property of a client's home if they want to know what an installation is going to look like before it's up there, in terms of, front sale value of a home. What is the unit going to look like? Is it going to be ugly? The solar panel is going to be hideous. So I'll be able to actually scan those solar panels and put those on a 3D model of the house in the Unreal 5 engine. And that's something that I think is another way I'll be able to get more money out of these deliverables. And it's just figuring out where you can solve problems for a client. So that's really what I'm doing. I've done nature photography for, my entire life. I've had a cell phone. I've never actually had a real camera. Funny enough, I've just always I've always bought the phone that just has the best camera. And I don't care if it can, if it can text, that's great. If I can call people, that's even better. But if it can take really good pictures, that's all I care about. I don't really use any apps besides, social media. I don't even use TikTok, God forbid. I have terrible ADHD, so that's just like a prison sentence for me. Every time I open up anything that scrolls, it's pretty much like a short-term jail sentence for me. I'm on house arrest pretty much, because it just siphons all of my attention away from me. So I've really been trying to break away from social media and just start doing things that, I've even been playing less video games because that's something I do in my spare time. I've been just kind of enjoying the work I do. And that's something I've never really experienced before, is being able to just sit back and kind of enjoy what I do every day. And there's been times in the last month where I've had to take my daughter with me, and it is a little more stressful, but it's such a beautiful thing being able to take your family, to a job with you and it not add a lot of stress to your work day, and you can just spend time with your daughter and hang out. I think that's extremely valuable for me as a new father. And it's just one of those things. You kind of have to be appreciative of what you have, even though I'm not making a lot of money. I'm, laying down the foundation for, potential jobs, in the next years. It's not just, what can I do this week? What can I do next month? I've been handing out business cards to roofing companies, solar companies, real estate companies. I went to almost all the wineries around here. I went to the tap rooms around here. Um, and, it seems like the biggest thing I've learned is that doing work for free is such an important step when you're starting a business. Because if I hadn't done, the last 4 jobs, I did some real estate jobs for free, and some other roofing demonstrations for free. Then I was able to post those on my website. I was able to post those on my social media, my YouTube. That's doing better. It's doing much better than I thought I would be doing the first month. I might post some analytics here. I think I've just broke 30,000 views. I think I'm almost at 90 hours watch time. Pretty good, I think. I don't know, what the first month for anybody on YouTube usually looks like, but I've just been kind of throwing the kitchen sink at it. I've learned a little bit. I've definitely learned the beginning of my videos suck. That's something I need to work on. And saying the word is terrible for videos. So the less I can do that, the better. I think I'm going to cut the video off here until I'm at the job site, and we'll record a little bit more. So see you then.